Last summer, Jimmy called me and I had been awarded the Grand Marshal for the Pride Parade. And
wow.
I was like,
Yeah.
what? I didn't even know what a Grand Marshal was.
Yeah.
And so that was like kind of shocking. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I got to lead the Pride Parade.
Nice.
And yeah, I guess, if the kids over there are talking about me a lot, that's awesome. And they use the space and they know it's here when they need it. My name is Stacy, she, her. I moved to Salida in 2019 after coming out of a pretty rough rock bottom patch. I had to just kind of start over, and it happened to be here in Salida. And I'm super grateful for where I ended up because it's completely changed my life. I was in Durango before. It's 3.5 hours, kind of south of here, but I grew up in Colorado. I was born in Denver. Went to school in Fairplay for high school, so
wow.
a very small town, but we grew up coming to Salida as kids, going to the movie theater and the bowling alley and the hot springs, so I was very familiar with the area when I moved back this way.
Nice.
Yeah.
And why specifically Salida? Was the skate park already there, or like?
No, I actually didn't even skate before I moved to
wow.
Salida.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had one friend that kind of encouraged me to move here, and I didn't have a lot of friends here otherwise besides her, and so that's how I got involved with roller derby as a way to make new friends, and that's what just opened the doors to all of what we see here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I hadn't actually roller skated until I went to my first practice because I was a hockey player in Durango, and the hockey players were like, we don't play roller derby, we're hockey players. And there wasn't a lot of crossover. You didn't see the derby players playing hockey either, so it was interesting. But there isn't much organized hockey here, at least women's hockey. And so I kind of drifted towards the roller skating. And it was so much more, obviously, because of the community of skaters and the friends that I started making. And that's a big part of why I think a lot of people, gravitate towards derby, because it is so inclusive and so welcoming, and you make such awesome friends, and you're just in an environment where you just feel really comfortable to be yourself. I developed a crush on one of the roller derby ladies, and that's part of why I kept going back. And now she's my girlfriend.
Wow, nice.
So yeah, roller derby, started that, and then there was a fire here, a forest fire. The Decker fire, that was in 2019, yeah. And so the fairgrounds where we practice for roller derby was then occupied by all of the fire crew, so we weren't able to practice. And so my friend Molly and I started skating at the skate park, and I hadn't really spent any time in skate parks before because I didn't even skateboard yet. But it was just such a cool thing, and all the different people that I was meeting, I was like, this is where I'm supposed to be, at the skate park.
It's not the big one.
Yeah, at this point, the big one didn't exist yet.
Oh.
The shop and the club, obviously support each other. The shop is its own business that I own, and then the club is all run through a nonprofit so we can get funding.
Okay.
So the community clubhouse, the skate ramps, all of that stuff we keep free for kids to come and play and hang out, and I just want it to be a free, safe space for people to come. And so the operating budget alone, a big chunk of it is rent for this. I pay my own rent for the square footage of this room, but most of the rent is run through the nonprofit. So we'll go backtrack just a little bit. So skate park, COVID. So then COVID happened. So then we couldn't go back to derby. Just as I was starting to get involved, everything got shut down, obviously, so we lost that. And then kids weren't in school, and so I'm still hanging out the skate park, and there's all these kids just getting in trouble and running around. And so we started a roller skate club. I hadn't had the idea for this yet. And we were going around town and collecting donations from local businesses to buy kids skates. And then we were also working with Boys and Girls Club. So I bought a ton of skates and brought them to Boys and Girls Club, and we'd skate with them, and we called it Quad Club.
Oh, quite.
And
Yeah.
so we'd just
That's
be,
clever.
yeah, we'd just be running around Salida with these kids. We started these rollouts once a week, and we would all meet at Alpine Park and then just go shred F Street all as a big group.
Nice.
I think the first rollout had like 30 people at it.
Wow.
Yeah. Some of my very first customers were from SCC.
Oh, really?
Like, I think the very first day we opened that they walked over and bought a bunch of stuff.
Oh, nice.
And two of them started roller derby from that.
What's your experience here in Salida like?
Going through COVID really shifted kind of my perspective of the people I wanted to surround myself with. When I lost my job temporarily as a non-essential business, I ended up going to work at Safeway instead of collecting unemployment like everyone else in my peer group was doing at the time. And that was a pretty eye-opening experience and led me to meet a lot of different people that I wouldn't have met had I just been hanging out in my usual group of friends. Yeah, I met, for example, a local artist. So that's how you see this like paint everywhere and splatter paint and all this stuff. Like, he taught me that, painting isn't, just, it's anything. And so literally I was like, well, I don't know. I'm just like, I've never really been an artist. And he just put paint in my hand and just was like, just throw it. And through him, I met a lot of different people. And he was really inspiring when I said that we wanted to start this. Like, he was just, you gotta do it, you gotta do it, you gotta do it. So when I was hanging out with the kids in Quad Club, the new skate park was also being developed, the Friends of Salida Skate Park group, kind of a grassroots campaign of parents that came together to fund that. So between kind of that and the club I was doing and roller derby, it was all kind of coming together, and like the kids were like, you need to start a skate shop. I'm like, you're right, we need to start a skate shop. So I was looking at just the little spaces that are affordable that I could just have a little skate shop out of, and everything kept falling through. And then someone was like, well, did you see that for rent sign in that like weird building that like across from the Pancake place? And I'm like, yeah, I did notice that. And so I just rolled up because I saw a car here and came in, and I asked the woman, is this place for rent? And she's like, yeah, you interested? I said, yeah, I'll take it. And she's like,
Oh
what?
my gosh. Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know the price. I didn't care because I just like felt like this is what we need beyond the skate shop. But because of all the space, the idea just clicked when I saw it. There was a lot of negotiating with the owners at the time to get the rent down to be affordable enough. And, we told them the vision, and the space will be for the community and more so kids. And that's why I wanted it. So high school, middle school, Boys and Girls Club is all right there, so they just walk right over after school. So I suppose I identify as myself because it took some serious trauma to find myself. And coming out of that, just lucky to be alive, I had a whole new outlook on life. And it was just positivity and helping others find themselves to be themselves as well. And so that was a big motivation behind creating this space, was for people to just come and feel comfortable, people that are having a rough time. I could give you so many stories about people that are in a really rough spot and don't know what to do, and they come here. Yeah. And sometimes I can handle it, and sometimes the situation is so intense that I'm not trained to do what I have to refer people to, the Alliance or FYI, or, it depends. We've seen a lot of different cases.
I feel very, very privileged to have like the schooling that I did, and like two parents together. There were definitely hardships, and like I could have absolutely like gone down a completely different path.
Exactly.
Had I not had like people within the skate community like really rooting for me, even though I didn't skate at the time. No,
and that's really, neat that you said that about the skate community, because it's saved my life through derby, and then just the people that I met through skateboarding as well, and being able to provide that to other people and open up a whole new world. rather than going down that dark path. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you get it. You've been there.
Yeah.
So my partner, who I met through roller derby and is very involved in creating a lot of the programs that we do, such as junior roller derby, like that's a whole thing that wasn't a part of this community before her and I came together to make those kind of programs available. I really want to help her in her next big dream, which is a roller rink
Nice.
for the area.
Yeah.
And it could be a multi-event facility, so it could be rented for all kinds of things, or utilized
like
for concerts or whatever.
Yeah.
But obviously the core purpose would be skating. And there's always people that are like, oh, you're not going to be able to do that, or that costs too much money, or that can't sustain, or that won't support itself. And people are like, what?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I didn't have any money. I don't qualify for a loan. I have no assets, but I figured it out. It's grungy and it's full of character, and it's the kids have created the space. They're the ones that paint on the wall and get to spray paint and do whatever they want. So so there's some ownership. So the kids take care of this place, and they're not going to let anyone break in, and they're always looking out for it, and because they help create it.
Yeah.
So. Well, I want to help with the roller rink project, and we'd probably have a shop there too.
Okay, cool.
But I still want to have a shop in town as well for skateboarders. The skateboarders aren't going to go to the roller rink to buy a skateboard.
Yeah.
So ideally, as close to the new skate park as possible to keep the skateboard presence. And then, just further expand the programs and the events. And, I'm planning some pretty big events. We have one coming up in May where I bring in skaters from around the country that are pretty well known to come and teach clinics here. And so I think as we build that, Salida is going to become quite the destination for skaters from all over. Just supporting small businesses and supporting the club through attending events or making donations when you come to skate, or we've had people give us money towards scholarship programs for kids that can't afford gear or their own, roller skates that want to do junior derby. And so there's so many different opportunities to support. I would just say, come check it out if you've never been here. You'll walk in and it'll change your life.
I'm so glad to learn more about this place, and hopefully I'll be in a lot more.
No, you should come hang out and skate, and anytime you need anything, we're here.
I did some gallery shows in Pueblo.